All right, chat. So, excuse the messy hair. Finished watching 28 Years Later. Went to go see it in the movies. We have some words. Spoiler alert. Fair warning. Fair warning. Because I took notes throughout the whole movie, like a whole page worth of notes. Man, it's pretty good. So, ooh, I watched the first two movies with an old friend. Right, she wanted to watch them, and I was like, you know what? We always watch my stuff. Let's watch some of your stuff. So I watched it. Fucking loved them, dude. They were such good movies. I prefer 28 Days over the second one. I think the second one is pretty good because, like, Hawkeye was in it. But regardless, this one definitely my favorite. It starts off as sort of a coming of age story. Well, no, it starts off with this kid watching his whole family just get torn up with like he was watching Teletubbies. He runs and finds his dad, and who's a priest. Um, priest, he dies. He hides in like a little grate, and we don't see him until the end of the movie. Besides that, you follow this kid named Spike. It's his first time leaving his community, going back onto the mainland. He goes with his father, and they have some trouble. Um, there's this thing called like the Alpha. There's multiple. They're like the super raged up, big ass fucking uh, infected guys, and let me tell you, right? There's a lot of balls in this movie, man. A lot of balls and tits. When I went to go watch it, the person I went to go see it with, every time there was balls and tits, and they'd hit a lull. And I was like, you know what? I feel you. I feel you. Because like, I wasn't expecting that much. But yeah, he goes out with his dad. He has his first successful kill. It was hard for him. His dad was cool. He sort of reminded me of Joel from The Last of Us, which I love that. I love that series, by the way. Not so much the TV show, more so the games. But the TV show, Pedro Pascal had his moments. I preferred Pedro Pascal to play Joel over anyone else. Yeah, it's a coming of age story. The mother is sick, and at first we don't know what she had. I was thinking it was maybe she was like schizophrenic, or maybe she had mental illness and they just didn't have the medicine to like get her better. But that wasn't the case at all. We'll find out later in the movie. But yeah, the Alpha waits till they try to head back to their community and just starts chasing them. And it's like, oh my god, are they gonna make it? Because they have this little home stretch that they could just go. Excuse me, holy crap. Um, but like the alphas are like physically just like superhumans, dude. Like they can rip off someone's head without even trying. Oh man, they can crush your skull in, but and they can run really fast, dog. Like I'm telling you, super duper fast. Um, but they end up making it. Barely. The alpha almost gets them. He ends up getting a harpoon, like a fire stake thing, drove through his chest, which I thought was really cool. And then they have this big party to celebrate Spike, the kid, because he just had his first kill. It was super overwhelming to him. He was having his first drink, and then the dad cheats on the sick wife. And mind you, up until this point in the story, the dad was probably my favorite character. Very macho, very noble, very honorable, good father qualities pushed him to do things when things were hard, and he did them, and he succeeded. He told him he was proud of him, but then he cheated on his sick wife. So, pooey, we don't like that. But it did have a lot of fatherhood, good fatherhood traits. I feel like, and then after that, the son confronts the dad, and pulls a knife on the dad. He's like, "You stay away from us. Like, you cheated on my mom. She's sick, and you are just not good. Stay away from us." Then there's talks. of this crazy doctor guy. They seen a fire when they were out, and they were like, "Oh my god, a fire!" So he brings it up to another person in the community, and they tell him, "Yeah, he's a doctor. Like 30 some years ago, he was a doctor. Now he's just kind of crazy and collects dead bodies," which was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. They make him seem like he's some type of schizo monster, but he's actually one of the more human characters in the movie. Somebody who has their shit together mentally. So he decides to make a little distraction. Spike, the son, he makes a little distraction. He takes the mom and he leaves back to the mainland to try and what's it called? To try and find the doctor because he doesn't know what's wrong with his mom. So he's trying to get to the doctor, which I think is very admirable. I think a good son would do that. So yeah, they go get in all types of shenanigans. They meet this Swedish army guy who admittedly is kind of a dick. But he has some pretty funny interactions with Spike. So like the rest of the world is pretty much normal from what I understand. It's just that community and like other communities and everybody on the mainland who aren't really accustomed to normal life. Like they have smartphones, they have delivery drivers, and Spike doesn't know what any of this stuff is. He didn't even know what a frisbee was. He doesn't know. But he meets the Swedish army guy. Ooh. In a really cool way. There's a bunch of infected chasing him and his mom, and he goes into a gas station, and there's, I believe it was benzine that was built up throughout the years. So the Swedish army guy, his name was Eric. Eric. He lights the whole thing on fire. They hit the ground, and all the other infected just burn up, which was super cool. Meanwhile, the mom was very much having episodes. She confused Spike with her father a lot. She would go into detail about her father. She was not well. Which it was sad to see, cause like, imagine you, a child, trying to be a better man, trying to protect somebody that you care about, trying to get those issues solved, and you just see them deteriorate in front of your eyes, and there's nothing you can do. That is heartbreaking, and it's such a good movie. What else? This is where shit gets crazy. So they meet this. I got a Roomba in the kitchen. Just smacked my door. They meet this infected lady, and she's tweaking out, but she's giving birth, which I thought was gnarly. The baby isn't infected, surprisingly, but the mom helps the zombie lady kind of give birth, and then immediately, when she's back to her senses, the infected tries to kill the mom and Spike, and Eric ends up shooting her. And then he was like, "All right, we got to kill the baby." And then that was obviously a point of conflict between the mother, Spike, and Eric. And Eric, he's getting ready to shoot. He starts counting down. He starts backing up to create some distance, just for an alpha to reach down, pull this man up, rip his head off, jump back into the bus, right? Crazy work. Actually crazy work. Because he goes in with his head like a trophy. He's like, "Arr," and I'm like, "Oh my god, y'all gotta get the fuck out of there, man. He's gonna kill y'all." So they start running. He starts letting out arrows. And mind you, these arrows aren't doing anything. He's taking them like, right. Really cool. But that's when they meet the doctor. He comes up, and he hits the alpha with a little tranquilizer dart. I believe it was filled with morphine and something else. And he just starts doing a little fentanyl, he's like, and I was like, oh shit. So this guy's smart. He meets the doctor. He takes the mother with the doctor and the new baby that they find. And then they go up to the doctor's place, and it is crazy. There's skulls, hundreds and hundreds of skulls and bones just organized in these giant pillars. And there's dead, like, man, there's infected, there's not infected. He says it doesn't matter, they're all the same when they're dead. And he does that, and it's, he says this line in Latin, I believe it was remember we must die. And then he gives a diagnosis to the mother. He does some checks, and the thing that I love the most is he was a little crazy, building building like structures out of bones and shit. But like, playa. He still talked to the mom like a doctor. Like, he still had that professional medical training, and I thought that was so sweet. Cause like, I'm going to check your arms and underneath your breast now. Is that okay? Like, he still had the practice down, which I find impressive. And then he breaks the news to Spike that your mom has cancer. She's not going to make it very far. It's already hurting her. That's the reason she is confused most of the time. It's the reason for her little episodes. It's the reason for the nosebleeds. And Spike doesn't really understand what cancer is. So he's like, just tell me where the hospital is. I can go. I will get the medicine. You please, doctor. It has to be something you can do. So then the mom gives a hug to Spike. And the doctor drugs him with the morphine that took out Samson. Samson was the name that the doctor gave to the alpha that was chasing them. And it's sad because he did everything he could to try to save his mom. And his mom, in the end, gave him one little last act of love and drugged him. Wow, she killed herself. Didn't really kill herself. She also got drugged. But next time we see the mom, it's just her skull. And Spike climbs to the top of one of the towers and places her skull facing the sunlight, or the sunrise. And that's the end of the mother. So after this, the alpha comes and almost kills the doctor and Spike. Spike was able to, fortunately, think quick enough to grab one of the morphine tranquilizer darts and just jam it in his arm, saves the doctor, goes back home. He leaves the baby at the doorstep of the community. Meanwhile, the dad is worried sick. He's doesn't know what to do. He's mad at the old man who told Spike that there was a doctor out there. And in the end, Spike doesn't return. He says, "Don't look for me. I'm okay. I'll return when I'm ready." And it was just a good ending. It was good. He leaves the baby. The dad tries to run after Spike, but because of the tide, he can't, because the tide covers up the path so that you can only enter at certain points of the day. And then it cuts to 28 days later, which I thought was such a cool little reference to the first movie. Because, like, 28 days later, in a movie called 28 Years Later, but the first movie was called 28 Days Later, that's so cool, dude. That's so cool. He's doing well for himself. He looks a little bit older, a little bit dirtier. It's been like a month, and I bet he didn't shower not once. Cooking fish, and then he starts running because there's these infected that are chasing him. And then he comes to this blockade in the road, and it is so cool. It's so cool what happens next, because you'll never guess who shows up. At first, I thought it was going to be Cillian Murphy, because I heard rumors that Cillian Murphy was in this movie, but I wasn't able to spot him out. However, it's Jimmy, the guy from the start, the kid who was like, watched his whole family get killed and whose dad was a priest. And dude, Him and his whole crew are all blonde, and they use sports equipment and do parkour, and they take out all these zombies with the utmost gusto, with the most style and flamboyancy I've ever seen. And he's like, "My name's Jimmy. Let's be friends." And then I was like, by far the most entertaining scene in the whole movie. Because, like, what do you mean, Jimmy? Jimmy, why is your friend doing a backflip off the wall to fucking a zombie? And then, like, they tie one of them up, and there's, like, they were so in sync. It was so cool. But I think my favorite part throughout this whole thing was just watching Spike grow. At the start of the movie, he could barely hit anything. He was shaky. By the end of the movie, he was able to take out quite a few people infected by himself, and I just think it was a great movie. If you haven't watched it, but you watched this video, I'm sorry I spoiled. But yeah, man, it was swell, good ass movie. All right, thanks for watching, y'all.